Well, we're the Pottertons. I'm Jessie. This is Justin. Atlee, who is 4.5, and
call my name
Atlee, who's 4.5, and Carver, who is 16 months. Atlee was born on November 5th, 2006, and it was an absolute perfect pregnancy, perfect labor at Upland Hills. As a second-time mom, when you go through the first pregnancy and everything's just great, every other pregnancy after that, if anything's different, is scary. It's different, it's new, it's kind of like you're doing it all over again. You're learning something that you just want everything to be okay.
Well, Jessie's pregnancy thus far had been very normal and everything had gone just fine.
I'm 12 days away. I didn't think anything about it. And I started to bleed, started to hemorrhage, and I called the OB staff. And I was put through to Barb Yana, and she said, you need to get here in 10 minutes or you need to call an ambulance. And at that point, we realized how serious it was. So we went to the hospital.
I could tell in Barb's voice there was a little extra level of concern. You get to know the nurses very well and the staff, and I could tell there was a level of concern in her voice. And so I said, I'm headed in. I will come in and let's check it out. At that point, Barb had already put her on the monitor, taken a set of vitals. Initial sign, everything looked okay, but she was still having some bleeding. So at that point, I was thinking, did the placenta separate too prematurely from the uterus, and was that the source of hemorrhage? Or was it just the start of early labor? And is everything fine? But I wanted to go in and check it out to see what was going on.
At that point, she had still thought everything was going to be okay and we might even be able to deliver this baby naturally. But then she said, you're not going to be going home today. You're not going to be leaving this hospital without a baby.
When her bag of water broke, there was what we call meconium, meaning that the fluid wasn't clear. So that was a factor that made us realize that, okay, baby's probably in a little bit of distress. She continued to bleed, which was obviously concerning, but then the final factor was we monitored baby continuously, and baby started to show some signs based on the baby's heart rate that baby was under a little bit of stress. And so in that case, then we decided it was not wise to wait any longer and to do the C-section.
And in the context of bleeding, you worry about what's called an abruption, where the placenta, for a variety of reasons, decides to prematurely separate from the wall of the uterus, and that can be a real serious emergency.
Because at this point, they're concerned about the health of the baby and me. And I didn't realize how serious it was until they tell me later on.
They never really let on. It was, I know it was serious because, a C-section, emergency C-section is always something unexpected like that. But yeah, they stayed pretty calm. They never really showed that they were, rushed or nothing like that.
Fortunately, everything went very smoothly. And once the placenta is completely out, then the uterus can contract down, and there are things that we can do to help that along. And I'll tell you, when the baby comes out and you hear a nice, hearty scream, it's a real relief.
He was screaming and crying, and it's good to hear him. At least he knew he was good then and fine. And another boy.
Barb was tuned in from the beginning. Dr. Raleigh was tuned in, and everybody was watching the indicators so that when things really took a turn for the worse, people were ready to move in the direction that needed to be moved into.
The health care that we get, just the overall care, the compassion, the hugs and the warmth and the empathy for what you are dealing with. I don't know what we would have done without Upland Hills.
You hear on the TV all the time about other rural communities having problems with doctors and stuff like that, and the health care. We don't have that problem here.
To me, is one of the most impressive things about this hospital is the capabilities of the staff and the physicians. I'm so impressed with this place. It's a delight to be here and to work here. I feel very lucky to be here. It's a privilege.
We are so lucky to live in a community where these people are so willing to take care of us. And sometimes on a Sunday afternoon when you have them leaving their families just to help you. You're bringing another life into this world, but they're giving up their own time to be there for you. Everyone was just wonderful. I can't say enough about the CNAs, the OB staff, the administration, the nurses, the surgeons. Every single person was there, and they made that delivery of both kids. They made it successful because of them all caring and putting forth all of their efforts